I just left the courtroom for the bond hearing for my son at least for the third time. This time it was very fair. The judge was very fair. He wasn't pro-prosecutor, he wasn't pro-defense, but he was pro-justice.
We want to begin now with some breaking news. Rapper Lil Durk.
This just in, the courtroom shook harder than a bass drop at a Durk concert. After months of rumors, delays, and social media madness, the judge has finally spoken. Lil Durk's freedom date has been confirmed, and the rap world is losing its collective mind. We're talking full-blown fireworks, tears, celebration, and memes that would make even 6699 jealous. Now, this isn't some random internet source says gossip. This came straight from official court documents. The news hit the streets faster than a leak on Twitter, and fans are already chanting, "The voice is coming home." But here's the twist. This decision didn't come easy. The courtroom drama was so wild, it felt like an episode of Power. Except Durk wasn't acting. You could feel the tension through the walls, lawyers sweating, fans praying, and Durk himself sitting there like a man who just saw the light at the end of a very long tunnel. The internet, exploding, rappers are reacting, ops are rethinking, and Durk's entire career just hit the biggest turning point since Laugh Now, Cry Later. Let's break down the chaos, the court, and the comeback that's about to shake hip-hop to its core. The story begins like every great hip-hop legal saga, slow, suspenseful, and laced with enough tension to make a movie script look underwritten. For years, fans have watched Lil Durk dance between triumph and tragedy, dodging more rumors than a Kardashian family meeting. One moment he's performing for sold-out crowds. The next he's trending on social media for court updates that sound like deleted Law and Order scenes. But this time, the story took a turn nobody saw coming. Early this week, whispers started bubbling in group chats and rap blogs. Durk might be walking free. At first, everyone dismissed it as another clout-chasing rumor. Then the news broke. Official, signed, stamped, and dripping with legal drama. The judge had confirmed it. Lil Durk, Chicago's most resilient voice, finally got his freedom date. It wasn't speculation anymore. It was real. And that single document hit harder than any diss track. The courtroom itself looked like a press conference disguised as a verdict. Fans and family packed the hallway, reporters clutching phones, waiting to post the headline before anyone else. Durk walked in wearing quiet confidence. No chains, no entourage. Just that stone-faced calm that says, "I've survived worse." The prosecutors tried to keep it cold, but even they knew the case had turned. The judge spoke slowly, dragging out every word like a cliffhanger. When the date dropped, you could feel the collective gasp ripple through the crowd. Social media detonated instantly. "The voice is free," someone tweeted. Another post read, "Durk beat the system again." Within minutes, hashtags like "or Free Durk No More" and "Knock the Voice Returns" started trending. Memes poured in faster than 6699 could delete comments. Fans were already planning welcome home playlists before the ink dried. The culture didn't just celebrate, it erupted. What made this verdict so explosive wasn't just that Durk's walking out, it's what it means for his legacy. This is the same man who's been labeled the street poet, the survivor of Chicago's drill trenches, the one who turned pain into platinum. Every case, every headline, every tragic loss followed him like a shadow. Now, for the first time in years, the story isn't about survival, it's about resurrection. Inside the courtroom, Durk's reaction was pure cinematic gold. No jumping, no shouting, no overacting, just a deep exhale that could have cooled down the entire room. His lawyer patted him on the back. The judge nodded. Even the court clerk cracked a tiny smile, like they knew this wasn't just paperwork. It was history. Durk looked straight ahead, eyes locked on the exit like a man already planning his next move. Of course, not everyone was thrilled. The opposition murmured. The skeptics side-eyed, and gossip channels started crafting conspiracy theories faster than YouTubers could record reaction videos. Some said he got lucky. Others claimed connections played a role. But those who know Durk's journey understood. This wasn't luck. It was long overdue redemption. Durk's legal team later revealed how hard the process really was. Endless hearings, delays, missing evidence, and pressure from both fans and haters. But through it all, Durk kept working. He dropped albums, supported his artists, and somehow managed to keep his head above a storm designed to sink him. The man lived under constant scrutiny, but every time people counted him out, He flipped the narrative like a plot twist. And let's be honest, this whole saga felt like the final season of a Netflix crime thriller. You had the courtroom drama, the family loyalty, the social media chaos, and the music industry vultures waiting to see if he'd fall. Instead, he rose. Again. If Jay-Z gave us the blueprint and Meek gave us motivation, Durk just gave us the sequel, the voice of survival. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed like paparazzi at a Drake sighting. Durk didn't speak much, just nodded and said, "It's time." 2 words, simple, powerful, and somehow louder than any diss he's ever dropped. The internet turned those words into an anthem. TikToks, edits, even fan art. Everyone wanted to be part of this comeback. But here's the real kicker. The date isn't just symbolic. It lines up with what insiders are calling a career rebirth. Sources close to his label say Durk's been stockpiling unreleased tracks, features, and visuals like a man planning revenge through art. There's talk of collaborations with the biggest names in rap, and apparently, one of the songs directly addresses everything he's been through, courtroom to comeback. Meanwhile, critics are already sharpening their pens. They're calling it the redemption rollout, saying Durk's turning his case into marketing, but fans don't care. To them, this isn't PR, it's prophecy. They've watched him lose friends, fight cases, and still rise to become one of the most respected voices in hip-hop. For this community, his freedom isn't just about Durk, it's about hope. The vibe online feels like a cultural reset. Rappers are quoting him, producers are hinting at collabs, and even the blogs that used to shade him are suddenly calling it inspirational. The same outlets that once counted down his downfall are now counting down his comeback tour. And while the court papers made it official, the energy made it spiritual. Lil Durk didn't just win his case, he won back control of his story. He's not the man fighting demons in headlines anymore. He's the artist who outlived every narrative meant to break him. The countdown to freedom has begun, and the world is watching. Because if history has shown us anything, it's that when Durk bounces back, the culture shifts. The stage is set, the date is locked, the voice is ready to speak again. And this time, he's louder than ever. The moment the news broke, it felt like the internet caught fire. Twitter threads turned into virtual parades. Instagram was flooded with fan edits showing Durk walking out of court in slow motion. Captioned, "God's favorite finally free." TikTok timelines were nothing but Durk lyrics, courtroom memes, and conspiracy clips analyzing every detail of the judge's statement like it was a secret government code. Even Facebook aunties who barely know who Lil Durk is were posting "God is good" under hip-hop pages. It wasn't just news, it was history, remixed into digital fireworks. Durk's team stayed quiet for a few hours, letting the chaos cook. That silence only made the hype worse. Every blog from the Shade Room to No Jumper to academics jumped in. The headlines got wilder by the minute. The voice is back. Durk beats the system, Chicago legends freedom confirmed. Each outlet made it sound like a Marvel movie finale. And honestly, it kind of was. When Durk finally broke his silence, it wasn't some dramatic press conference. He did what Durk always does, dropped a tweet that sent the culture spinning. "They tried to break me, but I'm harder now." 9 words, that's it. But it hit harder than a diss track. Within minutes, that post had hundreds of thousands of likes and reposts. It was more than confidence. It was a statement of survival. But as the fans celebrated, others started asking questions. The same internet detectives who once solved YNW Melly's Instagram locations in 12 hours were now dissecting every timeline in Durk's case. Screenshots of old court filings popped up, people speculating on what really went down. YouTubers dropped hour-long investigations with titles like, "Did Lil Durk just outsmart the system?" One even compared him to Tupac, saying, "Both men were revolutionary voices targeted by chaos, yet both found ways to rise from it." The comment section turned into a philosophy class taught by teenagers with Wi-Fi. Still, what made this moment so wild wasn't just Durk's freedom. It was the ripple effect. The entire rap scene shifted. Artists who'd been quiet suddenly started sending love. Meek Mill posted a picture of Durk with the caption, "The streets needed this one." Lil Baby reposted Durk's tweet with 3 fire emojis and a praying hand symbol. Even Drake, the king of subtlety, liked a fan post that said, "The real is back." That one like turned into a whole headline. And of course, the ops had to chime in too, because in the world of rap, peace doesn't trend. Subtweets started flying. A few rappers with long-standing tension with Durk threw shade without naming names. One even wrote, "Freedom ain't the same as peace." The internet lost it. Fans immediately started connecting dots, matching lyrics, creating entire Reddit theories about who was talking about who. It was chaos. Beautiful, messy, viral chaos. Meanwhile, reporters close to the courtroom began leaking inside details. Apparently, Durk's composure throughout the entire process shocked everyone. One journalist described it like this. He wasn't angry. He wasn't cocky. He just sat there, calm, collected, like a man who already knew his time was coming. It reminded fans of Meek Mill's 2018 moment when he walked out of jail to helicopter cameras and headlines screaming, "Victory for hip-hop." Only this time, the energy felt even bigger, because Durk represents an entire generation that watched him lose everything and still rise. But let's not pretend everyone's clapping. The media vultures who feast on controversy started circling again. Tabloids dug into his past like they were on a treasure hunt for negativity. Can Durk stay out of trouble? One article read. Another headline asked, will his freedom spark more feuds? It's almost poetic. The same press that exploits his pain now doubts his peace. But Durk's fans weren't having it. They flooded comment sections, defending him like an army. "He's not the same Durk," one wrote. "This is grown man Durk." Even the memes had a spiritual undertone. One viral image showed Durk in front of a judge with angel wings photoshopped on, captioned, "When you beat the system and still praise God." Another had the words, "From O Block to overcoming," plastered over his face. It was comedy and reverence rolled into one, the perfect 2025 internet energy. Then came the industry shockwave. Record labels and streaming platforms smelled money in the air. Spotify playlists quietly shifted. Suddenly Durk's tracks were front and center again. Apple Music dropped a curated mix titled The Voice Returns. His older songs, Aha, All My Life, Golden Child, started charting again out of nowhere. It was like a musical resurrection. The machine had woken up, and Durk was once again its golden engine. But beyond the numbers, the symbolism ran deep. This was more than a comeback. It was a reclamation of identity. Durk's entire brand has always been about struggle and survival. His fans don't just listen to his music, they live it. He's the rapper who turns pain into poetry, the one who reminds you that even through loss and betrayal, you can rebuild. That's why this Freedom Date hit so hard. It wasn't just a release, it was validation. Back in Chicago, murals started popping up overnight. Artists painted Durk's face with halos and lyrics from his songs. Streets lit up with fireworks. Local radio stations dedicated entire hours to Durk Day. One host said, "When Lil Durk wins, the whole city breathes again." You could feel that pride from the South Side to Atlanta. Even people who weren't fans respected the moment, because it represented something bigger than music. Still, drama always finds a way to sneak into every victory. Rumors started floating that the judge's decision wasn't unanimous behind the scenes, that there had been pressure from above. Some blogs hinted that certain industry names made calls, others claimed Durk's case had been fast-tracked after high-profile lobbying. Of course, nobody had proof, but proof doesn't matter when social media runs on vibes and screenshots. Suddenly, everyone was a legal expert again, and then, the twist. A mysterious clip surfaced on Reddit, allegedly recorded inside the courthouse hallway. It showed Durk leaving the building, nodding at someone off camera and saying, "They counted me out too early." Fans went ballistic. The video hit 1 million views in 2 hours, and people dubbed it the moment of resurrection. Every major outlet reposted it with captions like, "The calm before the storm." Even rivals couldn't ignore the buzz. One anonymous source from another rapper's camp told XXL, "Whether you like him or not, Durk's return changes the game." And it's true, it does. The man built an empire during one of the hardest runs in modern rap. His label's artists flourished while he was tangled in legal drama. His influence only grew stronger with each setback. It's like every obstacle just amplified his legend. Now insiders say he's gearing up for something massive. The word on the street is that his team's planning a documentary to chronicle his journey. Courtroom to comeback, chaos to clarity. A-list directors have reportedly reached out. Imagine it, cinematic reenactments, real interviews, unreleased footage, the full voice of the trenches story. Netflix executives are allegedly circling like sharks. If that happens, it's not just going to break the internet, It's going to rewrite how hip-hop redemption stories are told. Meanwhile, the fan theories keep growing. Some believe this freedom marks the start of Durk 2.0. Others think he's about to retire and reinvent himself as a mentor, stepping away from street talk to something more conscious. And let's not forget the conspiracy crowd, the ones convinced this is all leading up to a collab album with Drake, Meek, or even Kanye. The comment sections have become wish lists disguised as analysis. But at the center of all that noise is one undeniable truth. Lil Durk just pulled off the impossible. He turned a courtroom into a stage, a verdict into a victory lap, and a legal decision into the biggest cultural headline of the year. The man who's been tested by tragedy, betrayal, and loss just reminded everyone why he's still the voice. For the first time in years, his future looks brighter than his jewelry. And as fans count down to that official freedom date, one thing is certain. When that gate opens and Durk steps back into the sunlight, the entire industry is going to pause. Because this isn't just the end of a case. It's the beginning of a new era. And if history tells us anything, when Lil Durk breathes, hip-hop listens. The ripple effect of Lil Durk's confirmed freedom date didn't stop at the courthouse doors. It swallowed the entire rap industry like a cultural earthquake. From Chicago to Atlanta, from LA studios to New York podcasts, everyone was talking about the return of the voice. Some called it divine justice. Others called it the rebirth of real rap. Either way, this moment had officially rewritten the narrative. In the days that followed, Durk's name dominated headlines more than presidential candidates. News anchors who couldn't pronounce OTF were suddenly experts on drill culture. The courtroom photos became viral wallpaper. Durk in that clean suit, head slightly bowed, face calm but unreadable. The quiet power of a man who knows he's already won. The caption under one viral post said it best. Not guilty energy looks good on him. But while fans celebrated, the system trembled. Prosecutors reportedly weren't happy about how the public turned Durk into a hero overnight. One insider claimed they'd never seen such influence-driven immunity. But that's the thing about Durk. His story has always been more than rap. It's survival wrapped in melody. His name carries more emotional currency than entire institutions. The streets didn't just love him, they believed in him, and that's something the system could never quantify. Meanwhile, Durk's label wasted no time preparing for the homecoming of the decade. Posters started appearing online. A shadowy image of Durk walking toward a blinding light with the words, "The voice returns, countdown to freedom." Every major blog reposted it. Some fans thought it was just fan art until insiders confirmed it's real. Durk's next rollout had officially begun, and this time, it wasn't about controversy, it was about coronation. Industry whispers said labels were in a bidding war for exclusive rights to his first post-release single. Even streaming giants wanted in. Spotify was reportedly preparing a front-page banner titled "The Return of the Voice," while Apple Music planned a full editorial tribute. Durk had turned his freedom into a global event, one that blended redemption, revenge, and pure rap royalty. Then came the interviews. People close to Durk started speaking out. His lawyer went viral after saying he never lost faith. He knew this moment would come. A childhood friend told Rap Radar, "He was already mentally free. The judge just made it official." That quote exploded across social media, instantly becoming the new motivational meme. Celebrities reposted it with captions like, "Free your mind, the rest will follow." But the reactions weren't all positive. Some critics said the celebration felt tone deaf, claiming it glorified escaping justice. Others accused the media of painting Durk as a saint instead of an artist who grew through pain. Yet the louder the critics screamed, the louder the fans cheered. For every angry think piece, there were 10,000 comments saying, "You don't get it, he earned this." Even hip-hop veterans chimed in. Fat Joe called the news a win for culture. Rick Ross said, "Durk ain't no rapper, he's a movement." Ice Cube dropped a simple tweet. "Freedom hits different when it's earned." And when Snoop Dogg went live to say, "The young homie did it right, kept his head, stayed solid," the internet collectively lost it. But what made the aftermath even crazier was how quickly Durk turned reflection into power. He didn't go silent or hide behind PR walls. Nah, he leaned right into it. Within days, a clip surfaced of him in the studio, hoodie up, chains glinting, spitting bars that oozed vengeance and victory. One line leaked online. They tried to cage the voice, now the system got a listen. That single lyric alone broke Twitter for a full hour. And of course, the memes. The memes never stopped. One showed Durk sitting in court photoshopped next to Nelson Mandela with the caption, "From the trenches to the timeline." Another had fans joking, "Drake dropped God's plan." But Durk lived it. Every corner of the internet found a way to turn this legal triumph into viral comedy. And Durk, in perfect fashion, reposted a few with the caption, "It's all love." Yet, beneath the jokes and celebrations was a very real emotional current. For so many people, especially in the communities Durk came from, this wasn't just about one rapper. It was proof that change was possible. Proof that no matter how deep the odds, resilience could still rewrite endings. Durk's story became the modern blueprint for redemption. From street allegations to chart domination, from courtroom anxiety to cultural victory, the streets, the fans, the media, everyone's focus was the same. What's next? When would he officially walk out free? What's the first song? The first appearance? The anticipation was electric. You could almost feel the countdown ticking. His fan base started a digital campaign called "The Voice is Coming Home," counting down the days with edits, posters, and daily motivational quotes pulled from his lyrics. It was like watching a movement form in real time. And then came the wildest part. The leaked footage from the courthouse parking lot. It showed Durk shaking hands with a few people, hugging his lawyer and smiling. Actually smiling. The man who had spent years fighting battles no one fully understood looked genuinely at peace. It was a split-second clip, but it humanized him in a way that interviews never could. The caption under the repost summed it up perfectly. "Freedom looks good on Durkio." Rumors also began swirling about a freedom tour, allegedly spanning major cities across North America and Europe. Promoters claimed every venue they contacted sold out in pre-registration before a single ticket went on sale. If that's true, it would make Durk's comeback one of the biggest in hip-hop history, rivaling Meek Mill's post-release victory lap. And just when fans thought they'd seen it all, an even bigger twist dropped. A leaked studio snippet appeared online, a haunting piano melody under Durk's voice saying, "I ain't free 'cause they said I am. I'm free 'cause they can't stop me." Within hours, every rap outlet claimed it was the intro to his new album, allegedly titled The Return of the Voice. Whether it's true or not, that line alone turned into the mantra of the moment. Through all the noise, Durk remained calm. He wasn't ranting on lives or posting cryptic captions. He was focused, strategic, and for the first time in years, visibly grounded. His team teased visuals, his merch store reopened, and his PR manager posted one cryptic sentence: "The storm is over, now watch the rain." The internet collectively screamed. But perhaps the most striking moment came when Durk himself went live. Quietly, unexpectedly. No filters, no music, just him sitting in front of the camera. "I appreciate y'all," he said simply. "It's been a long time coming. I learned a lot. I lost a lot. But I'm here, and I'm about to make it count." Those 20 seconds were all it took. Fans flooded the chat, rappers reposted it, and news outlets clipped it instantly. That single humble statement hit harder than any flex could. In the end, Lil Durk didn't just beat a case. He beat a narrative. The same headlines that once framed him as another lost cause now call him the voice of redemption. His freedom isn't just a personal victory, it's a cultural reset. It's proof that perseverance, strategy, and growth still matter in an industry addicted to chaos. As the countdown continues to his official release date, the anticipation feels less like a waiting game and more like the calm before a revolution, because everyone knows. When Durk walks free, he's not just stepping back into the booth, he's stepping into legacy. The judge may have confirmed his freedom, but the streets, they'd already confirmed his immortality. And that's the story. The courtroom shockwave that turned into the comeback of the century. Lil Durk's freedom date isn't just another headline. It's a cultural moment. The system tried to silence the voice, but you can't mute a man whose lyrics are louder than his charges. So now the question is, what happens next? Does Durk come back swinging with a diss that breaks the internet? Does he drop the album that rewrites the game? Or does he take the quiet route, rebuild, and let the music speak louder than the madness. Drop your theories below, because this story's far from over. It's just getting started. And if you made it this far, you already know what to do. Smash that like button like Durk just smashed his case. Subscribe to The Rap Truth and turn on those notifications, because the next chapter in this saga might break before your phone even charges. We bring you the leaks, the legends, and the loudest moments in hip-hop history. No filters, no fluff, just straight fire. Because here on The Rap Truth, the streets talk, and we translate it loud enough for the whole world to hear. Stay locked in, stay wild, and remember, freedom hits different when it's earned. Durk's walking out soon, and when he does, the whole culture's standing with him. The voice isn't coming back. He's coming to claim his throne. He's coming to claim his throne.